You're listening to The Joe Cronin Show, a wrestling podcast with attitude.
So it's been an interesting day for me, mostly because I've just been doing like triple the work recently. Because as many of you guys know, I wanted to make sure that I had kind of audited my own YouTube channel to make sure everything's good. And I have to fortunately, when 5,000 videos get privated, you have to then unprivate 5,000 videos, which would be easy, except I probably had about 500 private videos on my YouTube channel, which were videos that I either privated because of copyright, privated because of maybe something really fucked up happened, and I was like, I don't really want that on YouTube. Let's take that off. Or maybe there was a mistake made in a video, or somebody was embarrassed by something. You know what I mean? Somebody, whatever the case is. Sometimes you private a video. And so when you private 5,000 videos, you then realize that you don't remember what 500 to 600 videos had been private before, or why they were privated. So that becomes a scary thing. So you find yourself having to go through 9 years of Joe Cronin Show lineage and videos of content to try to figure out which videos are supposed to be online and what aren't. And that's the day. Anyway, on to the stuff that you give a crap about, which is wrestling news. You can hear about all that other stuff that I'm dealing with behind the scenes on my Patreon, where I'll be recording Morning Madness. So, shut up, alarm. I don't like you. Sasha Banks returns. It seems that all signs point to Sasha Banks returning to the WWE, something that we really thought maybe wouldn't happen. But the timeline exists like this. Sasha Banks gets more and more upset with the company, walks out after several different sort of tirades and complaints and things like that. She goes on leave basically because she wants to quit. She says, "I'm quitting. I want out of here. I hate you. I hate this. Get me out of here." And WWE says, "You know what? Take a couple weeks off. Think about what you're saying. Think about what you're doing, and come back when you feel clear or whatever else." She goes to some place and breaks stuff. She goes. She just gets in bikinis and goes to hot springs and who knows what the hell else she does. Anyway, she looks into a lawyer. They try to look at their legal options of her getting out of her WWE contract. That doesn't seem possible since she signed a recent contract for like 3 years. The rumor here is, and the information that I'm getting, and I don't get this type of stuff a lot, so I am, this is interesting, is that Sasha Banks tried really hard to look at every legal aspect in her contracts and situations to see if there was a way to get out of her contract. She did plan on maybe suing or trying to, get out of her contract, and they have come to the conclusion that there's nothing she can do. She would not be allowed to wrestle for 3 years, and then plus the time that she's been out. And so basically she can't win at this point. So after looking at every legal option possible, she's been advised she has no options there. And now the rumor is that Sasha Banks is possibly close to coming back to the WWE, and possibly she will come back as a heel. Hopefully she'll come back as, the boss, the way we knew her, the way we want her. So hopefully that is the situation that happens with her. But that is the new rumor, is that she will be back now. And so it looks like she's going to have to play ball for the next 3 years or so in WWE. And I don't know what other exceptions have been made. It sounds like they've been pretty accommodating to her for what's been going on. And then if you, likewise, if you look at the Becky Lynch situation, where Becky Lynch really is weak. Becky Lynch was on fire going into WrestleMania, and her fire started to dwindle down more and more because the WWE has no idea what to do with Becky Lynch as far as I'm concerned, or anybody on the roster. Becky Lynch has had way more interesting exchanges when Ronda was able to go promo script free, and when Becky Lynch was allowed to play with those words as well. And when Becky Lynch was able to be on Twitter, fighting people on Twitter, that always works out for Becky because she can say anything she wants. Becky Lynch's most exciting character stuff is most exciting promos are really happening offline on Twitter. And they've got her in this Lacey Evans thing, and it just seems really, really lame. A lot of people thought she'd be facing Asuka because Asuka beat her the night of, the Rumble, the Royal Rumble. Becky went on to win the Rumble, but she tapped out to Asuka. So a lot of people thought Asuka would be the one to say, you are champion, but I make you tap out, type of thing. And then there'd be that natural rivalry there. They didn't feel that had enough steam. I don't feel Lacey Evans even has enough steam. Recently, Becky's been in a fight with Edge on Twitter that's more interesting than anything she's doing on WWE TV. So it is possible that they bring Sasha Banks in as a heel to take on Becky Lynch. Maybe that could be interesting, and we could get back to the boss. But I'm telling you that there are significant reports that Sasha Banks is coming back to the WWE. And again, from what I understand, she did say she wanted to quit. They told her to take time off. She got angry. She did not want to be there anymore, and she sought legal consultation, and they looked at every way possible for her to get out of this contract or to get out of the WWE. And when they realized they would never be able to win in court, they would never be able to do this based on the WWE legal work and the stuff in her contract, she was advised, you won't get away with this. You'll be stuck. You'll cost yourself a whole bunch of money, and you'll still be in the WWE legally. And I think WWE said to her, listen, you can either sit on the sidelines for 3 years, or we can do business. And so I think that, begrudgingly, she will be back. And I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means to have somebody like this still working who is so miserable as Sasha Banks may be, or will be, or was, or maybe will be again. Or will things change for her and she'll have a new attitude towards everything and it won't bother her? I don't see how it can't bother you, If you're in WWE, I don't see how it can't bother you, because at first you're in WWE and you're like, oh, this is great. I'm in the WWE. Yay. Yay for me, right? But I think one of the things that happens is first you're in NXT, right? You're Sasha Banks, you're in NXT, and you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm in the WWE, but I'm in NXT. I'm selling out arenas. They're cheering for me. I'm the boss. Grown men are buying my T-shirts. I'm killing it. I'm in NXT for whatever she was, 2 years, 3 years. I get the call to the main roster. Oh my God, I'm on the main roster of WWE. I love this. Holy crap. Can't believe it. NXT was so great. Now I'm on the main roster. Oh, I'm main eventing Raw and Hell in a Cell, and I've been given the title a couple times, but they took it away from me. That was weird. How they keep taking the belt away from me so quickly. I don't quite get the booking there, but oh well, whatever. I'm in the WWE. Oh, they did this with me. They did that with me. They did this. This is starting to be horrible. Why are they doing this with me? Why aren't they doing better stuff with me? And eventually it like weighs down onto like, anybody who's got a brain, they're going to freak out eventually, right? Anybody that cares about their art, you're going to freak out eventually. I feel like WWE has become like how record companies had become by, by the by the 70s, 80s, and especially by the 90s, and the early 2000s. Record companies had become insane. Get out there, do the songs we want you to do, and shut up. There are more stories that you and me are unaware of with record companies than we would believe. Bands that came in hardcore or edgy or had their own creativity, and then record companies that said, no, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like we want you to do it. Here's what you got to do. You got to dress like this, and we're going to have you be a little bit more poppy. Stop doing that and this, and have a song that's more like a real song. Create a real song. Yeah, what you did to sell 100,000 copies while you were by yourself, that was great, but now you're in a record company, so we're going to have these songs laid out. Here's a song that we actually have for you that was written by so-and-so, but we didn't have a band, but your voice would be perfect for it. Well, I didn't write that song. I mean, we don't really do songs that aren't written by us. you're going to do this one. You know, so, and what happens to those bands is a lot of them conform for a while and they go along with it and they made some money doing it. But eventually the bands fight, they argue, and the people that were sent in to work with the band on the CDs and stuff, there's a problem. Musicians and bands work the best when they have a producer who collaborates with them. Like, you guys come up with the stuff, and then I'll tell you my opinion on it and give you suggestions. That is a good collaboration for a producer. And in most of those cases, those bands are successful and do well. But so many bands that we don't know about, I mean, were controlled by a producer or a writer. One of the biggest examples of this to me is Stabbing Westward. I mean, there's a lot of bands that you guys would all know that are big bands, that are big examples. But one of my personal biggest examples is Stabbing Westward. Their first 3 CDs were industrial rock based, very sort of heavy, dark music. And their 4th CD was self-titled, and they had a producer. They had changed record labels. So all of a sudden, they were at a new record label, and the producer lady came in and sort of split the band on the idea of what the band should be. And if you listen to the 4th CD, it's completely different than the other 3 CDs. It alienated their fans. It didn't grow them any new fans, really. Although I'm told they did really well in Australia for some reason. But, you know, a lot of the people in Australia were finding them for the first time. So the people that found them for the first time in Australia were like, this is awesome. What is this? But then they went back and listened to the other 3 CDs, and they were like, what the hell is their old stuff? And the people throughout the rest of the world that heard the new CD were like, what is this compared to their old stuff? So they really, like, changed the whole thing. And it was all because of what the record label wanted. And that's kind of how WWE is right now. WWE is this ultimate record producer that's always butting its head into everything. Oh, Ricochet had a good entrance and the lasers and everything. Oh, no, put the pew, 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 pew sounds in there. Take those lights out there. Oh, the War Machine is now the War Raiders or whatever they were. Oh, we can't have war in the name, so there's no War Raiders. So now you're the Viking Experience. Well, that didn't work. Okay, well, now you're the Viking Raiders or whatever. You know, and it's just a constant messing around with something that really isn't broken because you just have to have this control, apparently, for some reason. Anyway, my name is Joe Cronin. This is the Joe Cronin Show. What do you guys think about this information? What do you think about the speculation, Sasha Banks, and everything else that I talked about? Let me know in the comments down below. And I have new stuff up on Patreon. YouTube has demonetized all my videos, and you never know what YouTube is up to. So if you guys would like to get more, get my audio podcast and my downloads, please become a patron. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. It's down below. All my merchandise and everything else is also down below in the description box. Hope you guys check it out. I hope you have a good day, and I'll be back with more in a little while. Here's some other videos that are popping up right now that you might have missed. Please binge the videos and watch my other older videos and shit like that. Keep the channel flowing for a little while I get all my videos back up and running.